let's just get into the tea, okay? What happens when you get lonely? And let's have a real honest conversation about what happens when you get lonely. I'm not going to sit here and cap with y'all, okay? When I first started learnly, and I'm not going to edit it out because you know what? I'm a human being. When I first started to get lonely on this journey, I will admit I did seriously consider backsliding. I did. I really did. I really did consider backsliding. And here are a couple of things that I did to help myself not backslide. And these are things I still do. I know that most people are going to say, journal, pray, find a hobby or whatever. That's cool and all. But something that I do that really helps me is I use the Quinn app, okay? Quinn. Quinn, like Harley Quinn, but just Quinn. I use the Quinn app, and let me tell you something. This app is incredible. Now, I've always said on my abstinence journey, you decide what abstaining means to you. I am not here to be the sex police. I am not going to tell you that what you're doing is right or wrong. I'm not going to tell you that you are abstaining incorrectly or correctly. I'm going to cheer you on, rally behind you, and support you on your decision to be more intentional about the ways in which you are going to engage in sex or not engage in sex. That's what I'm here for. All that other stuff, leave me out of it. So I use the Quinn app. That's number one. I don't watch porn. I stopped watching porn years ago. And the Quinn app is something that, not sponsored, by the way, because as I hear myself, I'm like, this sounds like a big time ad, but it's not an ad. I just really like this app, and I've been telling everybody about it. So when you get lonely, you're going to have urges. I have never been of the mindset that you should ignore your sexual urges or desires. If anything, I think you should acknowledge them. I think you should give them space. I think you should name them. And I think you should explore them. Just explore them without having sex. The Quinn app is a great way to do that. A great way to do that. So I'm a big audio person. Obviously, not a surprise. I have a podcast. I talk a lot. Clearly, I like to hear my own voice, but I also like to hear other people's voices. And that's all the Quinn app is, baby. It's just some voices. So if you are needing some sexy time, if you're needing some erotica, if you're just needing to give space and hold space and honor your arousal, try listening to some audio on the Quinn app. Everything is also not like super raunchy or explicit. Actually, I like to just listen to like the fluffy kind of like love stories on there, which I also think is a really good way to work on visualization and manifestation. And it's a really great way to really hear what it is that you want to experience. It helps you say, if I say this is the kind of relationship that I want romantically and sexually, what does that look like? What does that sound like? What does that feel like? This app is a great way to at least see what it sounds like, even if just in theory. So that's one. Two, yes, the cliche, do something else. But I think it's really important to do something that involves moving your body, because a lot of times arousal of any kind, right, is just stagnant energy. Your body is just like, I want to do something else other than what I'm doing. A lot of times you're just bored. I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of times you are just bored and you don't have anything else to do. So you need to go get yourself some business and get something to do. So I think doing things that involve moving your body will help you a lot. So one, download the Quinn app, start listening to some of that audio if that's not your thing. Two, move your body. Dance, sing, stretch, yoga, Pilates, swim, exercise, take a walk. Walks? Me and walks go together real bad. I am blessed to live in a city that has many parks and green spaces. So I go outside and I walk quite often. And on these walks, I try to be intentional about it. I try to go on this walk in my mind and say to myself, okay, I'm not only going on a walk today because the weather is nice and I'm going to get me a little, matcha latte or whatever. No, I'm also going on a walk because I want to have sex right now. I'm going on a walk because I am aroused and I am not trying to backpedal or backslide because I know that this is a momentary, fleeting, temporary feeling that if I do give into my arousal in that way, which would be having sex with somebody, it's not that I would regret it. It's just that I know that that's not really what I want to do, I know that's not really what I want to do. It's just the easiest thing to do. I know that I could easily text or call somebody and be having sex or be engaging in sexual activity. I know I could do that easily any time of the day, any day, but that's not what I really want to do with myself. It's just the easiest thing to do. Also, you have to start asking yourself and paying attention to when you're getting aroused, right? What time of the day does arousal usually happen for you? What are you typically feeling or thinking about right before you notice and say, oop, I'm aroused, I'm horny, I'm sexually excited, right? It might seem difficult at first to really start paying attention to those kind of things, but once you start to take cue and take notice, right? Once you start to be intentional about recognizing when these feelings are happening, you're going to give yourself so much insight on what it is that you actually need, not just sexually, but romantically. You're going to give yourself so much insight on what intimacy, sexual intimacy, and romantic intimacy really means to you, what that is for you. So you sit with that. You do what you like with that. What I also like to do is I actually like to, now this, again, this depends on your comfort level and how comfortable you are with sharing this journey with other people. I am very blessed and very thankful, very, very, very thankful that I have friends who are willing to have these conversations with me, even though they are not walking this journey with me. Now, it's not like I'm texting them and being like, I'm horny right now. No, but I will express to them like, hey, I'm kind of feeling, like I'm going to backslide. I'm going to backpedal. And they know exactly what I'm talking about, right? And I'll tell that to them and they'll have a conversation with me. They'll stop what they're doing if they can and they'll talk to me. They'll check in with me and I'll have a conversation. They will do something productive with me. They'll do the best that they can to make sure that I am not backsliding, that I am not backpedaling. Of course, I'm going to say listen to a podcast. Listen to my podcast. No, but listen to a podcast. But be intentional. Don't listen to something just to distract yourself. Listen to something that you feel like you're going to actually sit down, listen to, take notes on, learn from, gather information, and you're going to actually apply it to your life. I feel like, as I said earlier, because a lot of times when we get aroused and we want to have sex, when we are horny, it really is coming from a place of boredom. It's just coming from a place of having nothing else to do. So if whatever you're doing to quell that feeling, again, not ignore it, but quell it. If what you're doing to quell that is something that is really mindless, it's really only going to intensify what you're already feeling because you're listening, watching, or doing something that you don't really care about. You're just trying to ignore the fact that you are horny or aroused. And that's why I know I've said it so many times already, like 5 minutes in, but I really, really mean it. You cannot just ignore these feelings. It's not helpful. When you just try to ignore these feelings, all you're going to do is intensify them and notice them more. And it really increases, I believe, it really increases the likelihood that you're going to backpedal, that you're going to backslide. And that's not a bad thing. Now, if you backpedal, if you backslide, that's a human. You're a human being. That is you being a human. And it's going to happen. You have to forgive yourself. You have to say sorry. You have to apologize to yourself. And then you have to decide if you want to continue on this journey or if this is the right time in your life to start this journey. I don't feel that anybody should start abstaining just because they think that's the next thing they should do. And because it just makes sense for the moment. Because a lot of times you think you're ready to do this and you're not. You're not ready. Before I started abstaining, I had many a conversation with myself to decide if I was ready and what abstaining looked like for me. And my abstinence has actually changed over the years. How I started to develop boundaries around the ways in which I was engaging in sex, all the way to no longer engaging in any sexual activity. That took years to develop. I've been doing this for 5 years. That took me years to develop. Year 1 looks nothing like year 3, and year 3 looks nothing like year 5. Now going into year 6 in 2024, So it's okay. It's really okay if you have to alter this journey and this walk for yourself. Like, don't feel bad about it, because you are going to get lonely. And what happens when you get lonely is that you are a human being. If I really had to answer that question real quick, one sentence, what happens when you get lonely? You learn a lot about yourself. You really learn a lot about yourself, and you have the opportunity to grow. That's what happens when you get lonely. For real. So don't try to ignore the feelings. Don't try to pretend that they're not there. Don't try to ignore them, and don't try to make them go away. Acknowledge them, name them, and find something for you to do or focus on that allows for that energy to not be stagnant, but to be used in a really useful way that is beneficial to you on this walk. That's really all you have to do. I hope that you found value in this really quick episode. I am doing all that I can, because that is my intention that I set for myself, to be much more present here in this space and to show up far more often, because I have written so many things down and I have yet to share them. And I'm really proud to be in season 4. I'm really thankful. I wouldn't be here in season 4 if it weren't for all of you that are listening. If you found value in today's episode, I know it's a quick one, but it's a good one, I feel. Please share it. Please please comment, please leave a review, and I'll be back.